travel to Kilkenny, would have been happy enough with their performance, beaten by 8 points in the end. But as you said, put in a credible performance, and I think lots of positives to build on it. Look, another tough challenge today, coming to Cork to play the defeated All-Ireland champions last year, so they'll need a huge performance. But look, it's hard to see anything other than a Cork victory here.
John Lillis is the new Limerick manager, and as I mentioned, lots of changes from last year's panel as well. And of course, they've the opening day away to Kilkenny, now they're away against Cork. You can't ask for too tougher test for a new look side.
Yeah, look, it's very hard when you're trying to build a bit of momentum, build a bit of performance, and you have those two tough challenges away. But look, he'll have to take positives from them, and then they have their finishing game, a local derby at home with Clare. So look, that's probably the one he'll really be targeting. But to get to that point, I suppose you need to challenge yourself against the best. And look, while they're tough assignments, there's no easy games, I suppose, in senior camogie. So you need to challenge yourself against the best. And as I said, take what he can from the two games. Look, I'm sure they'll come here today looking to put in another performance. As I said, look, there was lots of positives from the Kilkenny game. They'll be looking to build on those again today and carry a bit of momentum maybe into their final group game then.
It's a big opportunity for many French and young players. Now, just looking at the programme we have at the moment, we'll get confirmation before throwing. No Caoimhe Costello or Rebecca DeLee in the starting team.
Yeah, two huge omissions, I suppose, from the Limerick team, and especially from that performance in Kilkenny the last day. They were two of the main contributors that day, and two really established Limerick players. So it'll be interesting to see what the story is there, whether they're just maybe injured from that game or whatever. But as you said, not even named in the panel. But look, it's a chance then for some of the younger girls to step up. Like, I mean, Limerick put in a really, really credible performance last year in the league quarter-final against Kilkenny up in Burren. Should have won it on the day. And look, I suppose that's the kind of consistency you want to see from a team like Limerick. Producing a one-off performance like that isn't really good enough. You need to be producing that week on week and really starting to challenge the teams around you and starting to build performances. But as you said, to be without players like Rebecca DeLee and Caoimhe Costello today makes it even more of a challenge.
They need to get results out of this to have any chance of making the league final. Regards Cork, David, new manager as well, Matthew Toomey. On the field of play, he'll be happy with the result the last day, and he'll be hoping for more of the same between the lines. Yeah,
absolutely. Look, I suppose it was a tough day down in Clare, conditions-wise, weather-wise, even travelling up there. But look, they got the victory, and I suppose that's all a manager wants on his opening day, especially travelling to Clare like that. As I said, a lot of outside distraction maybe on the day. So look, to get a result will be all he'll be looking for there. A couple of new players on that Cork team as well, missing a couple of established players from last year's All-Ireland. So a chance for those players now today to put their hand on a starting jersey.
And even though there is changes as well, a lot more stability about Cork this year, you would feel, in regards to personnel on the field of play. Yes, no Hannah Looney, no Linda Collins to name but two, but very interesting addition to it, the attack. Saoirse McCartan getting a goal the last day against Clare.
Absolutely, a huge addition to the Cork panel, you'd like to think. Look, had a big impact in the Cork Club Championship last year with St Finbarrs bringing them to the semi-final. So a huge player, and has really established herself, and obviously has slotted in really well, took her penalty really well the last day. But if you look at the two corner forwards around Amy O'Connor and Katrina Mackey there today, a real formidable full forward line there today. And I suppose Saoirse brings you're missing a bit of physicality maybe from Hannah Looney around the middle of the field, and a bit of scoring prowess up front from someone like Linda Collins. So Saoirse probably blends both of those things together in that new full forward role. So it'll be interesting to see how she develops coming into championship.
And finally, Elaine, before we wrap up for the moment, of course, on a weekend where we're talking about integration and amalgamation, it's a double header with the National Football League game between Cork and Galway later on. Bound to be a lot more spectators in this game, especially during the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. You'd expect some of the football crowd to be coming in, and look, it's obviously a pity that it didn't coincide with the Cork hurlers game tomorrow against Limerick. They're away to Limerick tomorrow, so that obviously would have been the ideal one for the hurling supporters, but certainly for the Cork football supporters trying to get in early and see some of this second half. And look, the Galway will bring their travelling crowd for the football as well, so a chance for them to see some of the Cork and Limerick camogie players.
Well, we're looking forward to it. Elaine Aylwood will be with myself, Darren Kelly, in the commentary box in a bit as we bring you live coverage here in the Camogie Association YouTube channel in association with Entry, Cork against Limerick in the Littlewoods National Camogie League. That's coming up shortly. We'll get some pre-match thoughts beforehand. Delighted to be joined now by the Cork Camogie manager Matthew Toomey. Matthew, first day out, got a result, looking for the same again today.
Yeah, just looking for the same kind of performance again from the lads again like last week. The conditions aren't great here today, but they're a lot better than they were last week anyway.
I was just going to pull you up on that one as well, because at least we can stand here at the moment without blowing around the place.
Yeah, that was crazy last week, but sure, look, it's part of the game, and both teams. I know Limerick are coming down here now full of beans, like, so we have to put up for it. We have to have the right frame of mind for the game today, so that's what we're looking for mainly, like.
And that's what it's all about. Your last week too, first day out, windy conditions, all difficult, but you got the crucial goals when you needed to get the result. What have you been working on during the week?
I suppose our conversion rate last week wasn't great, like, but how could you blame it with the wind? Like, when they were throwing up the ball was kind of moving away from them, so we're just kind of sharpening up on that. There was a lot of positives we took out of last week, so we're just trying to work on getting everything to a perfect state of it where we are, like, at the moment.
Of course, the second victory will guarantee that you're in the final shake-up with regards to making a league final as well. You'll want to get the result too. What are you expecting from Limerick?
As I say, I think they'll be very. I know John Little as well, so I know they're going to be very organised and they're going to be, putting it to us. We've watched them against Kilkenny and their tackling is superb, and their transition to the ball is very good as well. So we have to match that. If they come down here with all that kind of energy, we have to match it, and it's as simple as that. Like.
Matthew, final question. One change in the starting team in the programme. Kate Wall in for Katrina Mackey.
Yeah, Kate Wall's in for Katrina Mackey. Yeah. So
Matthew, best of luck.
Thanks very much. Thanks a million.
And that was the Cork Camogie manager Matthew Toomey ahead of our game, thrown in here at 3 o'clock in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, Cork against Limerick. And while we're looking at Cork and talking about Cork, let's look at their starting team. In goal number 1, the captain Amy Lee. Full back line 2, Maeve Murphy. 3 is Libby Cobbinger, and 4 is Maeve Cahalane. Half back line were number 5, Laura Hayes. Centre back number 6, Laura Tracy, and 7 is Saoirse McCarthy. In midfield were number 8, Katie O'Mahony. Partner number 9, Aisling Thompson. The half forward line 10 is Ciara O'Sullivan. 11, Izzy O'Regan. And a change from the starting team, as we mentioned earlier on, Kate Wall, number 25, coming into the team, expected to play at left wing forward, and that means the inside line is top of the right, number 13, Amy O'Connor, full forward, number 14, Saoirse McCartan, and now top of the left, where number 12 is Cliona Healy. Again, a strong Cork team, despite the fact, Elaine, that Katrina Mackey isn't there.
Yeah, a couple of big names. Orla Cronin, another one missing from Cork at the moment, coming back from injury. So a couple of big names missing, but as you said, still a well-established team and a team that got a good result last week down in Clare. So Matthew Toomey and his backing team sticking with a lot of those players and giving players like the likes of Maeve Murphy, Katie O'Mahony, who all had their debuts last weekend, securing their place again this weekend. So another big 60 minutes ahead for those girls.
We'll quickly run through the Limerick team as they get ready for throw in here. Claire Keating in goal, full back line of 2, Emma Kennedy. 3 is the captain, Marion Quaid, and 4 is Stephanie Wolfe. Half back line were in 5 is Muireann Creamer, 6 Mairead Ryan, 7 Aoife Coughlin. In midfield were number 8 Orla Kelleher, 9 Sophie O'Callaghan, 10 Michelle Curtin, 11 Aisling Scanlon, 12 Caroline Brennan, 13 Caoimhe Lyons, 14 Sarah O'Brien, and number 19 starting is Cliona Ryan as the ball is thrown in by the referee Liz Dempsey from County Kilkenny, and it's Cork against Kilkenny, Limerick I should say. Cork against Limerick. Cork attacking the goal to the left in the first half. They have whatever breeze is here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, and that ball is going to come to the new Limerick goalkeeper Claire Keating, and Claire Keating gets the ball out. Will that ball stay in play? Maybe it will, as Orla Kelleher holds on to possession. She is the pink helmet wearing number 8 for Limerick. Little touch there by Laura Hayes for Cork, enough there to cause the confusion, and Aisling Thompson has possession, gives it back to Laura Hayes. Laura Hayes outside the 45-metre line, dropping a dangerous ball into the direction of Saoirse McCartan. Saoirse McCartan will turn on the left hand side, go for a shot at the post. We have played 40 seconds. The first score of the game. It's Cork a point, Limerick no score.
Yeah, and a really well worked score from Cork there. Turned over Limerick in the middle of the field. A lovely little pop pass from Aisling Thompson to the on-running Laura Hayes, and she made no mistake picking out Saoirse McCartan inside, and a super score from her. She's drifted out from full forward and is obviously going to be a target for Cork in that attack.
Limerick will look to settle very, very quickly in this game. Michelle Curtin there with the yellow boots on the move. A Cork player has lost a stick, and Michelle Curtin has done well to get to the 45-metre line, just hesitated for a moment, taking on Laura Tracy, and the referee is going to make it a free out for Cork. A free out going to be taken by Saoirse McCarthy, and Saoirse McCarthy with a long drive down to the opposing 45-metre line as Cork's attack tries to create an opportunity. Cliona Healy, wearing number 12, has won the free, so Cork will get a chance to get their second score of the game, and we'll just wait now for this. Amy O'Connor was their top scorer the last day, but it's going to be Cliona Healy that's going to take this free for Cork. Just a minute and a half gone. Matthew Toomey will be happy with the way his team have started off this game. So Cliona Healy just to the right of the D, goes for a shot at the post. The umpires have a good look. They like it. It's gone over the barrel lane. 2 minutes into the game. It's Cork 2 points, Limerick no score.
Yeah, and I think Limerick were off the hook on that one. They were lucky that Liz Dempsey called back that play. 2 Limerick defenders, Emma Kennedy and Stephanie Wolfe, had gone for that ball, and Amy O'Connor had snuck inside. So I think if the free hadn't been called, Limerick could have been in more trouble inside. But just a few little mistakes from Limerick now, and no better team to capitalise than Cork.
Cork look very, very focused and motivated at the moment as Aisling Thompson goes on one of those trademark runs, gives the pass for Cliona Healy. Cliona Healy with another shot at the post. goes, and another point for Cork, and Cork mean business. 3 points to nil. We've only played 140 seconds.
Yeah, and that lovely strong running again from Aisling Thompson on the middle of the field, taking on that entire Limerick backline, and when the time was right then, just to pop in a lovely little run, in fairness, from Cliona Healy across the goal, and just made her space for herself to get that shot away.
The ball is won there by Laura Tracy from Cork. We'll talk about the Limerick team when we get a moment of a break, and also want to talk about the Cork half-back line, who've certainly made their presence felt in the early stages, but we're looking at Limerick here as they look at the first score of the game in the yellow helmet. Sophie O'Callaghan in possession for themselves, looks around for an option. She did play centre back actually against Kilkenny the last day. Sophie, very versatile player for the Limerick team, but again it's Cork in possession. Again it's Aisling Thompson sending it down the left flank, down in towards the attack, down towards Cliona Healy, who just lost her foot on that occasion, being blocked by the Limerick defender as well, and Limerick just moving it up the field. That looks like it's going to trickle out over the line, and it's going to be a Cork line ball in the middle of the field. Orla Kelleher just losing out the race, and Cork just in control at the moment. I have to say, while we're talking about Aisling Thompson, talking about Cliona Healy, Saoirse McCartan, the half back line from Cork have already made a solid contribution.
Yeah, and a really solid half back line there. You know, Laura Hayes and Saoirse McCarthy really established themselves last year on the wings with Laura Tracy in the middle, so you know, a really big line I suppose for Cork, and especially the way Cork play, they look to break up teams and attack from there, and the two players on the wings there are two players who certainly love to go forward, and look, if they don't get forward themselves, they have the likes of Aisling Thompson just outside them then to play off lovely ball to, so a really dominant line for Cork.
Miriam Creamer, the Limerick player that cleared the ball. This breaks kindly now for Orla Kelleher, and Orla Kelleher goes in a run towards the 45 metre line, a hand pass into space for Cueva Lyons. They'll depend an awful lot on Cueva Lyons here today, and again the Cork defence just in control. We can't really say in this early stage that the wind is a massive factor in Cork having the 3-point advantage. They've just taken 3 good scoring opportunities, and they have the ball again in their own full back line, coming out towards the 20 metre mark, towards the 45. Cork looking good in the early stages as they bring it towards the 65. Cork with a victory against Clare last week, 2-6 to 4 points. Laura Hayes moving down the left, getting away from 2 Limerick players, sending it into space. Nobody read that perfectly at the time, so Aoife Coughlin should win the race for that ball, but Cliona Healy's not going to make it easy. Cliona Healy is taking the ball back, gives it to Kate Wall. Kate Wall, the change in the team, goes with a shot, the first wide of the game for Cork, but a very cheap scoring opportunity for Limerick to give away.
Yeah, and ominous for them was Amy O'Connor on the edge of the square there with her hands out when that ball went wide from Kate Wall. You know, she'd gotten herself into a lot of space, so Limerick maybe just a little bit guilty of a little bit of ball watching back there, and you can't afford to do that when you have the likes of Amy O'Connor inside.
And Amy O'Connor's inside now because Cork have overturned the ball. A chance for Cork, a shot, a goal! A goal for Cork 5 minutes into the game. It was coming, if you're a Limerick supporter, we don't like to say, but Amy O'Connor, just on cue, and Elaine mentioned her, puts the ball into the back of the net. 1-3 to no score.
Yeah, look, and it was coming, as you said. You know, she'd been inside on the other one, the ball hadn't quite broke, but Cork just finding it too easy at the moment just to break that Limerick cover and get the overlap. And look, when you leave the likes of Amy O'Connor inside 1-on-1, she doesn't make a mistake.
We talked about the credible effort that Limerick put in against Kilkenny, but they did concede a big start in that game as well. But 5 minutes in, the last thing they would have wanted, and again over carrying or going against Limerick. It's a free out for Cork, going to be taken by a very busy Laura Hayes from the St. Catherine's Club, and she's just been told to go back a few yards, and just slows things down again as Limerick try and get themselves organised, as Cork have come out with the intent that we would have expected from the home team here. If Cork win this game, they'll be on 2 wins out of 2 in Group 2 of Division 1 of the National League. Kilkenny, of course, beat Clare earlier on, won 8 to 10 points. They're on 2 wins as well. So while there's no semi-finals in the National League this year, Cork and Kilkenny are going to meet in an effective semi-final in the final round of games. Scramble for possession just outside the 45 metre line, but again it's Cork winning the ball. The pass comes out towards Ciara O'Sullivan, and Ciara O'Sullivan will go for a shot that's going to drop to the left and wide. Cork missing a couple of opportunities, but they're just winning the battles against Limerick.
Yeah, look, and I suppose from a selfish Cork point of view, if you're looking at it, there was a chance there again. Amy O'Connor was free over on the right hand side, so look, I suppose when Cork look back on the game, they'll feel that there was opportunities there that they didn't quite take, but the chances I think are going to come plenty for them now in the next couple of minutes, so you'd imagine that Amy O'Connor will get another chance. Izzy
O'Regan wears number 11 for Cork, but Limerick have turnover possession on this occasion. Miriam Creamer bringing the ball out towards the 65 metre line. Nice pass in from Michelle Curtin. Michelle Curtin with the white helmet turns on the right. Limerick need this, you would feel, to get off the mark. Michelle Curtin with the shot puts the ball over the bar, and that's the first score of the game for Limerick, a point to 1-3. But great to see how Limerick overturned possession and made it simple, move down the centre.
Yeah, and a really good score when it did come. It was a lovely little through ball in there from from Erin Kramer, I think, and into the path of Michelle Curtin, and did really, really well to get inside that Cork cover and take a really well taken score.
7 minutes gone in the game here. The Littlewoods National Camogie League here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. It's Cork 1-3, Limerick a point. Kate Walware, number 25, has possession for Cork and plenty of options around her. She decides who to go with. Sends it across to Izzy O'Regan. Izzy O'Regan, space inside, a player inside as well. Saoirse McCartan, a chance for another goal here, and a second goal for Cork. And it's Saoirse McCartan puts the ball into the back of the net. It was Amy O'Connor and Saoirse McCartan that got the goals against Clare. They've got the goals here, 2-3 to a point.
Yeah, and again Cork just making little of that Limerick defence, getting the overlap time and time again, and at the end of that overlap you have goal getters like, as you said, Saoirse McCartan and Amy O'Connor inside, and it was Saoirse McCartan in that stage on the edge of the square. Doesn't make any mistake from there.
Cork are 8 points clear already. Limerick have possession in the middle of the field as Mairead Ryan will try and create this opportunity. Goes for a shot at the post. That's going to drop in front of the Cork captain. Amy Lee goes out to the right and wide. 1 wide for Limerick, 2 for Cork. Elaine, a question we didn't get to talk about before the game is the Limerick team. 6 changes from the Kilkenny match, but the notable absentees, Caoimhe Costello and Rebecca DeLee, were told they're injured, but they're not here.
Yeah, look, and we said, I suppose, 2 huge players for Limerick, and when you're trying to build it, you need all that experience there, you know. I think they had 5 debutants against Kilkenny the last day, so a lot of new blood in there, but you know, often coming down to Páirc Uí Chaoimh to play, as I said, the defeated All-Ireland champions last year in Cork, you need every little bit of experience you have, and I think a little bit of naivety certainly in their defending at the moment is certainly valid out there. You can see it in their play that they're just a little bit playing second fiddle maybe just to Cork all over the field, so that lack of experience, be it through injury or whatever, you know, is certainly telling out there on that Limerick team.
Has told in the early stages. Libby Cobbinger for Cork and Sarah O'Brien for Limerick battling for possession. The far side of the field has gone out. It's going to be a Limerick ball and it's going to be taken by Sophie O'Callaghan, and Sophie O'Callaghan just it's a free now, so the referee decided that a foul was committed, so Limerick have a free, and Sophie O'Callaghan going to take this about 40 yards out on the left. Now the breeze has settled down a bit and has been stronger even before the game as well, so Sophie O'Callaghan well capable now of putting this over the bar. Her team needs it as we come up towards 9.5 minutes. The Limerick midfielder with the shot. The umpires have a good look. I think she likes it. She's going for waving it to the right and wide, so a second wide for Limerick, 2 wides for Cork as well. 2-3 to a point, says the official scoreboard here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, and Cork have possession on their own 45-metre line and getting ready to bring it out again and move through the phases, and the players coming back getting involved. Interesting watching Katie O'Mahony and Aisling Thompson off the ball getting themselves in position, and the space opens up for Cliona Healy, and Cliona Healy turns inside, takes on a second player, tried to get the pass off for Laura Hayes. Bit of lapse of concentration there for Cork a couple of times since they build up their sizable advantage. They've given the ball away. 2 Limerick players going for the ball. Sophie O'Callaghan, the one that wins it, sends it down in towards the corner, and Cork nearly let that go past Maeve Callan, but she sold the dummy to the number 19, who is Cliona Ryan for Limerick, and Cork keep control. The pass off there by Ciara O'Sullivan to a teammate, and Cork send it down in towards the attack again. Cliona Healy, a little touch along the ground. This is simple stuff. Saoirse McCartan back for Cliona Healy. She hasn't got a goal yet. She's in the full forward line. Players are inside waiting for the pass. Comes across. Amy O'Connor just didn't get the touching that she wanted, but the danger has not been averted. Here comes Aisling Thompson, a shot for her, and it goes over the bar. Cork gets something out of it. It could have been another goal, Elaine, but it's not. It's a point. It's 2-4 to a point.
Yeah, and lovely build up all the way down from, I suppose, down the right hand wing here where Cliona Healy got onto that ball. A lovely little pop along the ground to Saoirse McCartan, who popped it back to her, and unfortunately for Cork, you know, the pass across to Amy O'Connor just a little bit too high to get a bat on it, but as I said, Cork recycled it really, really well, and Aisling Thompson coming again off the shoulder, and Cork's running off the shoulder, you'd have to say, is really, really impressive, right from that last ball with Maeve Callan back at corner back all the way up to corner forward. They're really running at that Limerick team.
And they're showing no mercy as well. On this occasion, Mairead Ryan wins the ball for Limerick and trying to bring it out towards the 65-metre line. The referee spots the foul, and it's going to be a free for Limerick. Limerick lost a Munster final 4-20 to 2-9 to Cork. That was last year's provincial decider. Of course, they did beat Cork back in 2017, 113 to 14 points. Lots of changes in personnel in the Limerick team since. They were All-Ireland quarter-finalists in 2019. Many thought they'd be in that position again last year, but losing to Wexford defeated by a late goal and into Tipperary, so their championship coming to an end as Aisling Scanlon sends the ball in towards the attack, and there's a bit of a spin in the ground there. Amy Lee had to be very, very alert to make sure that ball went to hand, sends it out for Laura Tracy, and Cork are going to move it again up towards the 45-metre line, and as people, spectators, still filtering in to watch the Camogie match here as well and enjoying it, especially if they're from Cork at these early stages, as Cliona Healy tries to win the battle against Mairead Ryan. Cork winning most of these 50-50 balls on the 45-metre line. The pass across for Izzy O'Regan, cut out on that occasion by Mairead Ryan, the Limerick defender, but Cork maintain possession through the green boots and black helmet of Aisling Thompson, gives it to Laura Hayes. Laura Hayes with a dropping ball in towards the full forward line again. No foul, says the referee. Limerick have possession out towards the 45-metre line. Number 2 for them is Emma Kennedy. She's the player in possession, sends it into open space, but not going to anyone but a player in red, and that player in red is from the Kellett Club, Laura Tracy. They passed Aisling Thompson just a bit fast. Aisling needed a second go at that, but she knows exactly what she wants to do with it. Down to Saoirse McCartan, and Saoirse McCartan has the ball there, just try to send it in the direction of Ciara O'Sullivan, not to be, so goes across to Laura Tracy, who is pushed up the field inside the 65-metre line, but Cork plenty of numbers as well, building up the attack. An overhit pass for Saoirse McCarthy, but it's still in possession for Cork, and it's another opportunity here and a chance for Amy O'Connor with a shot, and that ball goes over the bar. It is a score for Cork. It goes over the bar. Amy O'Connor with a 2-5 to a point.
Yeah, and that looked ominous from a Limerick point of view. Amy, I think, just had the second catch taken, so just couldn't take it into her hand again, but she definitely had goal on her mind, but off the hurl the shot just went up and over. But again, massive build up from Cork out the field again, that really, really strong running game, and they're doing so well switching the ball from side to side and diagonal ball in. They're getting real rewards for it inside.
10 points between the teams already. We haven't reached the 14-minute mark yet, as Maeve Callan takes possession for Cork just outside her own 13-metre line, and just you can see, looking up, looking for the option. 2 passes later, it's with Laura Hayes, and Laura Hayes will send it down the left to Ciara O'Sullivan, and Ciara O'Sullivan on the 65-metre line. Limerick just trying to get 2 bodies in at times to get a touch. Sophie O'Callaghan missing the slitter the first time of asking. She has it the second time, and now she's going to bring it out towards the 65-metre line, and there Cork player Aisling Thompson getting in the way to touch the ball, knock it out over the line. It's going to be a Limerick line ball outside. I suppose, Elaine, one thing we have to say as well, looking forward to this contest, and there's often been great battles in recent years between these two teams. We're neutrals here, of course, but what we didn't want to see is Cork building a double-digit lead in the first 10 minutes.
Absolutely, and look, they're well worth every point, but you know, they've really dominated from the throw in there, and Limerick are just really failing to get a bit of a foothold. Like, the score that they did get was a really well created score, and obviously you'd like to see them trying to create more of that to try and get themselves into the game, but as I said, they're just playing second fiddle to Cork all over the field at the minute, and just like when you have an inside forward line, the likes of Amy O'Connor, Saoirse McCartan and Cliona Healy's having a really, really good opening 14 or 15 minutes there. She's been all over the field, and I suppose it's just that constant Cork running off the ball, the constant running when they're in possession and when they're trying to create possession, and it's very hard for Limerick to get a chance to build a foothold into the game when Cork are playing at that pace.
And they're going to keep that pace up as well, and they don't even have Katrina Mackey, as we said beforehand. The long ball by Laura Tracy down in the direction of Cliona Healy. She did well to keep that in. I was just resigning myself to the fact it was going to go out, but Cliona Healy now has turned around 2 players, gets herself in the angle for the shot that might just creep in for her. It does creep in for her, and if ever there was a lesson there to chase down the ball until it goes over the line, that was an example. Cliona Healy getting the score. It looked like it was going to be a dead ball.
Absolutely. Look, it's the ball she could have easily given up on. It was rolling towards the sideline down the corner, but did so well to pick it and at pace and take on her player in along the end line, and a super score. Took a heavy tackle on the way, but did really, really well to finish, and she's had a really exciting opening 15 minutes for Cork.
It's going to be a Limerick line ball, the far side of the field. They're attacking the goal to the right as you look here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. 16 minutes gone in the game. We hope you're enjoying our coverage here in the Camogie Association YouTube channel, brought to you in association with Entry. Cork 2-6, Limerick a point. Amy O'Connor and Saoirse McCartan with the 2 goals for the whole side, and Limerick just struggling to get into the game. We are having a hold up in play. There is a Limerick player receiving attention, and I do think it's Michelle, it was a Michelle Curtin that was just receiving receiving some attention there. We'll confirm that in a moment. Michelle Curtin, one of those players promoted from the junior ranks. She scored a goal against Armagh in the junior championship last year, and John Lillis talked about bloody new players, bringing players through. There's a lot of players there on this Limerick team today that have played junior in the last couple of years.
Yeah, and it is a huge step up. I mean, you're stepping up to senior level, you're stepping up probably 2 ranks, plus you're stepping up to play against Cork, who, as I said, were in the All-Ireland final last year, so there's no real chance, I suppose, to blood yourself to get a bit of a foothold in it. It's straight up to a huge pace of a game, and a well-established Cork team who have a real method about how they play, so huge learning for those girls today.
Ciara O'Sullivan has the ball, took it from Saoirse McCartan. Katie O'Mahony sent the original ball in, and Cliona Healy's inside there, didn't get the space for the clean shot the first time, and good work there by Claire Keating to win the ball. She has been assured in the goals for Limerick. She couldn't be blamed for either of the 2 goals that have got past her, and she gets the ball down to the new vice captain Aisling Scanlon, and Aisling Scanlon leaves it for Orla Kelleher, but Orla Kelleher gets dispossessed in the middle of the field. Took the challenge in the shoulder there from Michelle Curtin. The referee didn't like the look of it, and I would imagine this is going to be a Cork free in.
Yeah, I think Katie O'Mahony probably in possession there and just a little bit blindsided maybe, and looks like it's going to be a throw in. Maybe Liz just blown up the play just for in case it was a head injury, but Katie O'Mahony, a player who has been really, really solid for Inniscarra through the Cork County Championship the last couple of years and really established herself as one of the key midfielders there, so getting her chance now last week and this week in this Cork team.
Limerick just probably a bit more pressure on Laura Tracy that occasion. Granted, they didn't win the ball back, but that's what they need to do if they're going to get back into this contest in any shape or form. Because Cliona Healy's on the run again, turning inside, going to go for a shot at the post, and Cliona Healy puts the ball over the bar. 18 minutes into the game. I think, is that 4 for her so far?
Absolutely, she's just on fire there today, and she's the kind of a forward in the kind of form she is. You just want to get as much ball to her as quickly as you can, and look, she's playing inside at left corner forward at the minute, but she's covering every blade of grass. She could pop up on the left or on the right, and look, she's got plenty of pace, and she's showed that she has the scoring now to match it.
2-7 to Cork, a point to Limerick here in the Littlewoods National Camogie League. We'll keep an eye on the other games that are happening around the country. 4 games in Division 1 taking place, but our eyes are on Claire Keating, the Limerick goalkeeper, and she's taken a bit of a knock there as well, so a bit of concern for the Limerick goalkeeper. And Elaine, I was just saying there in the commentary a moment or so ago, like, Claire Keating could not be blamed for either of the 2 goals. She has been as assured as any Limerick player in the field in the early stages of this match.
Yeah, look, the 2 that passed her were 2 rockets. You wouldn't expect anyone to stop them there in the other day, but as you said, had to be really, really assured to that last shot, quick off the line there, and she's handled anything she's had to handle really, really well. Her restarts have been very good, you know, you couldn't fault her for any of them, and she's seen plenty of action down there already today, so I suppose just maybe picked up a little bit of a knock maybe in that last passage of play when she came out, but again, came out through the Cork attackers, did really, really well to retain possession and set Limerick on the attack again.
An All-Ireland under-16 and minor B winner back in 2011. Thankfully she is okay and ready to get on with the action. We can just give you some latest scores. The half-time score between Dublin and Offaly. Dublin 112, Offaly 2 points. And the latest we have in the closing stages up in Leitrim Fontenoys is Galway 3-13 down 7 points. So no shock so far in today's action in the Littlewoods National Camogie League, but still plenty of time in this game here that only started at 3 o'clock. Claire Keating with a short puck out for the captain Marion Quaid, and Limerick have the ball in the middle of the field again as we approach the 20-minute mark here, and Cork win the ball back again. Good work by Kate Wall, who has the ball on that occasion, looks up again, gets the pass off, and all of a sudden we're on the move here again. Izzy O'Regan on the go. Izzy goes for a shot at the post, probably just rushed it on that occasion. 3 wide so far, and I suppose as we say, Cork's wides have been poor. We don't want to be too critical of a team that's winning by so much, but they're leaving a few scores behind them.
Yeah, they certainly are, and look, I think it's something that they will be disappointed about. Matthew spoke beforehand about their conversion rate in Clare last weekend and how he wouldn't have been particularly happy with the book given the conditions, but certainly there's been a couple of occasions there today where they have had probably poor enough wides by their own high standards, and maybe a little bit more composure up front, that there's probably a little bit more patience and there could be something bigger there to create.
2-7 to a point. They've already beaten their total against Clare, but as Elaine said, completely different conditions. We'd just like to say hello to everybody in Kerry's Motor Group, the new sponsors of Cork Camogie, and we know that they are watching our coverage here today of this Littlewoods National Camogie League, so delighted to see you involved with Cork Camogie for the year going ahead. No doubt you're happy with what you're witnessing in the opening 21 minutes of action here again. Another Limerick line ball in front of us has been sliced out wide. Sylvia O'Callaghan on this occasion. It's going to be a Cork ball outside the 45-metre line. Just getting a bit stop-start at the moment. The fear, of course, with this game, Elaine, is going to lose its buzz now because such a gap between them.
Yeah, you know, it's it's nearly gone beyond Limerick at this stage already, and that's, you know, it's a disappointing thing to say 21 minutes into a game, but just a complete dominance of Cork all over the field. They're dictating everything and the way that they're playing, and look, as we said beforehand, even from a Cork point of view, it's certainly not perfect. There's certainly bits to improve on for them going forward, but certainly for this game today they seem to be in total control all over the field.
Miriam Creamer sends the ball into space. Of course, if that window's pick up again like it was before the match, it will favour Limerick in the second half, and we saw the way they got back into action against Kilkenny as the shot at the post there has gone over the bar for Limerick on the 22nd minute. An excellent point in occasion by Caoimhe Lyons, her first of the day. It's 2 points to 2-7.
Yeah, a really, really good score from Caoimhe, and that's the thing, that the two scores that Limerick have got have been two really, really good scores. She did so well there, really, really, you know, clinical inside forward, and when she got the chance there, got her swing away in a really small space, and a super score from her.
Laura Hayes is on the move again. Seems to be every time she gets the ball down the left, she leaves two players behind her, gives a pass off to Ciara O'Sullivan. Ciara just losing out as Limerick are bringing the bodies back to stop this flowing Cork attack, and they have won the free out, so a reprieve. Can Limerick get two scores in a row? Can they finish off the half strongly? It's still hard to see them coming back, but they can certainly make a match out of this as Mairead Ryan takes the free down in the direction of Sarah O'Brien. In possession is Caoimhe Lyons, and Caoimhe Lyons with the left sends it into space, but it's only into the hands of Laura Tracy, who's reading the centre back play here as good as any of the greats who have played the game over the last 20 years. And Cork through Kate Wall with possession, the pass in front for Aisling Thompson. Aisling Thompson inside the 65 metre line, going to try and swirl inside Caroline Brennan, send the ball into space, and Claire Keating needs to be very, very careful here, and she was very, very careful winning the race against Saoirse McCartan. And did I just put the hex in her there, but she had enough awareness to send it out to Stephanie Wolfe, and Stephanie Wolfe will get it out the field again, but it won't stay away for long. Cork are just being relentless at the moment. That was the name of the book about the ladies footballers. These are the Camogie players, and Aisling Thompson puts the ball over the bar 23 minutes in to 2 points.
Yeah, another super score from Aisling, you know, got herself into that key position again, and a lovely hand pass off from Kate Wall. And I suppose it's Cork's use of the hand pass at the moment, finding the player in the better position and just spraying the ball around into space. That's really asking all the questions of that Limerick defence. And look, with the constant movement of the forwards inside there, it's very hard for the Limerick players to keep with them with the supply of ball that's coming in.
We won't say anything about who's not here today, but they look well coached, I think, is what you're touching on there. Cork again on the move. Ciara O'Sullivan outside the 45 metre line, losing out to Miriam Creamer, and Miriam Creamer gives it to Sophie O'Callaghan, and Sophie O'Callaghan moves towards the 65 metre line and willing to take on Cork. This is what Limerick needs to be doing, more of that, but she needed more support. Two Cork players were there, and Katie O'Mahony is the player that takes the breaking ball, sends it up towards the middle, looking for Ciara O'Sullivan. Limerick refusing to give up as Caoimhe Lyons loses the hurl, but doesn't lose her determination to get the ball. The referee says it was a throw from Cork in towards Izzy O'Regan. It's going to be a free for Limerick on the 65 metre line.
Yeah, and I suppose that's the danger at the moment with that hand passing game, is, you know, Cork are getting a lot of distance with a lot of those hand passes, and the chances are that you will be blown for maybe one or two in a game. But again, look, they broke up any attempt at a Limerick attack there, and they come in numbers then again. You know, Laura Tracy gives the pass and she's gone again for the return pass, and when she's gone, it's Maeve Murphy or whoever the spare player's back is dropping into that gap there to fill the hole of the defence. So yeah, as you said, look to be really, really well coached at the moment, and they're holding all the aces.
Miriam Creamer, I think, is the player receiving some attention at the moment right in front of us here. Of course, she was joint captain of Limerick back in 2020, and no doubt the highlight of her career so far back in 2014. Junior County Championship success, All-Ireland Intermediate success with the county. Sophie O'Callaghan is going to take the free. She was a junior winning captain for her club last year in Limerick as well. Sends it towards the square. If Limerick could get a goal before half time, it'll certainly paint a more interesting complexion on the scoreboard at the break. We have 5 minutes remaining here in the first half in Páirc Uí Chaoimh in the Littlewoods National Camogie League, and Cork in control with the ball. They lead by 12 points. Ciara O'Sullivan has lost out to Sarah O'Brien, and Sarah O'Brien sends it in towards the attack, in towards Michelle Curtin. Michelle Curtin trying to get away from Libby Coppinger, maybe ask a few questions of the Cork fullback, and the ball hit the stick of Libby Coppinger. I'm not too sure if Libby realised he was hitting it at the time, but it's out towards the 45 metre line, dropping ball down. Cleena Ryan is underneath it, but so is Amy Lee, the new Cork captain, and she turns to the right, finds the teammate, and Cork will bring it out towards the field. The player slips in the ground, gets back up, and that's exactly the determination that you want. And Cork are on the move again towards the 65-metre line. Great drive in towards Saoirse McCartan inside, getting away from the fullback Marion Quaid, but Marion Quaid staying on her tails. Sophie O'Callaghan there to help out, as is Orla Kelleher for Limerick. The referee not happy with what she is seeing. She's going to throw this ball inside the Limerick 45-metre line. And now what can Limerick get something out of this? Cork looking for another few scores to really put daylight between them. Some will argue there's daylight between them now. Conditions here very, very good for Camogie at the time of the year. It is cold, there is the breeze out there, but the Camogie much better than what we all had to endure last week. Cliona Healy with the ball in for Amy O'Connor. Amy O'Connor, a chance for another scoring opportunity here. Goes inside, goes with a shot, and that's in the back of the net. We've another goal. We've another goal for Cork. It's a goal for Amy O'Connor. It's coming 26.5 minutes. Cork 3-8, Limerick 2 points.
Yeah, and look, that was the nail in the coffin. I suppose Limerick really didn't need just before half time, but what a lovely little ball, lovely pop pass over the heads of the defenders into Amy O'Connor, and did really, really well to step back inside the two defenders. And I suppose the danger is always when you get in that close, into close contact, that you try to blast it through the roof of the net, but Amy, using all her experience then, just gentle little shot, rolled it over the line, and a super score for her.
Her second goal of the game, her third goal of 2022. Amy O'Connor, and Aisling Thompson just doesn't get control of it, but knew the Cape wall was there. However, so was Sophie O'Callaghan, and Sophie O'Callaghan wins the free in the middle of the field for Limerick, and a chance for them to try and respond with a score. As we mentioned, a lot of changes in the Limerick team this year. There was 5 debutants that played against Kilkenny. Players like Judith Mulcahy, Karen O'Leary, Roisin Ambrose, Laura Stack, not involved in this year so far anyway. Sophie O'Callaghan going to take this free outside the 65-metre line. 2.5 minutes to half time. And again, just going quiet there as the spectators of both Cork and Limerick show respect for the free taker. Sophie O'Callaghan outside the 65-metre line, sending it down. Can it stay in play? Can Limerick keep it in play is the question. The battle just outside the end line, but the breaking ball falls to Cork again, and they're going to bring it up towards Laura Hayes. Laura Hayes, wearing number 5, turns back around again in for Laura Tracy, and Laura Tracy will bring up towards the 65-metre line. Again, the long drive down, as Elaine said, when they get in a position, they want to get the ball into the inside line. They want to get the ball into Cliona Healy, and Cliona Healy's on the move again. She's options inside. Saoirse McCartan's there too. She sends it across, and a chance for Izzy O'Regan. There's another goal. Izzy O'Regan gets the 4th Cork goal of the game. It's now 4-8 to 2 points. Started in defence, and Cliona Healy knew what she was doing. Izzy did the rest.
Yeah, Cliona Healy has been the orchestrator of everything that's been good up front for Cork today. Looked like she was going for her own score there. I'm not sure if they got a little bit of a hook on it, but what a super ball across the goal to Izzy O'Regan, and she had the easiest of jobs to do then, just to finish it there. But as you said, straight from the back, you know, the urgency that they're playing out with the back, from the back with, they're working it short when they need to. On that occasion they went long. Cliona Healy, as I said, a player in absolute form down there, so you want to get as much ball to her as often as you can, and she's taking on her player every single time, drawing that extra defender, and it's ending up in the goal more often than not down there.
I'm just looking at the Limerick management, who just have control of the ball there at the moment, and to be very, very disappointed with this. It is a new management team in Limerick. We've talked about the changes in management, but there's experienced names in there. Of course, John Lillis, who's managed Tipperary. Niamh Lillis was interim manager for 1 year as well. She's in the backroom team too. Many others on that. I might run through them in a while, but this is Cliona Ryan. Cliona Ryan, wearing number 19 for Limerick, started the game instead of Ella Hessian. Limerick looking for the options are the Shannon Sliders, and Caroline Brennan is the player that sends the ball across, but Cork just know when to get the little touch. Laura Tracy getting the little touch in that occasion. Didn't get control of the ball, but he gets it out between the 45 and the 65-metre line. Sarah O'Brien dropping it in towards the house, towards Michelle Curtin. Cueva Lyons might get a chance at this if she can get the ball, and Cueva Lyons just got too much purchase on her kick along the ground, and that comes with the Cork defence, and they'll happily enough work the ball out the field again, work it out towards the 45-metre line, and all of a sudden that scoring opportunity for Limerick has gone a begging. Good work being done by Katie O'Mahony. So we'll have at least 2 minutes there. You would have heard from the stadium announcer. We're looking at Aisling Scanlon try and get a shot at the post, only down to Amy Lee, and Amy Lee again looking to just overhit the pass in the direction of Maeve Murphy, but Cork still have control of the ball and will move it up again towards the 45-metre line. So Maeve Murphy going from our cornerback position towards the 65-yard line, and all of a sudden it's danger again as Cork are on the move, and look at all the options there, in the space is opening up here for Cork again as Amy O'Connor goes on a move inside, and Saoirse McCartan in front of her finds a different option inside through Cliona Healy with a shot, a goal! Another goal for Cork, the first minute of added time, and it's Cliona Healy finally gets her goal. 4 different goal scores, 5-8 to 2 points.
Yeah, and again a move worked the whole way back from Amy Lee on the goal. It was a short pass out to her from Katie O'Mahony, worked all the way up then to Amy O'Connor. That little step from her initially out on the 45 just around her player, and as you said, Cliona Healy finally getting in on the goal scoring act after all her hard work.
Cork 5-8, Limerick 2 points. We're in the second minute of the added time here, and I don't think the half-time whistle can come quick enough for Limerick as they try and seek and they get something before the break. Michelle Curtin will try and get something out of this. She does get something out of this. She puts the ball over the bar. The third score of the game for Limerick. Michelle Curtin second, 3 points to 5-8.
Yeah, and a good response from Limerick. You know, you'd have to credit them with that. A good score. Like they're scarce, but when they do come, they are of a quality. You know, they've asked a couple of questions of Amy Lee in the last few minutes there. She's have to be sharp on her line in there, but I suppose just not really building up any real momentum up front.
The wind is starting to pick up here again in Páirc Uí Chaoimh as we get ready for the half-time whistle, and Limerick do have it in the second half. I'm not suggesting they're going to come back and win this game, but they can certainly make it a more competitive tie, but they have to make sure they don't concede anything else before half-time. Like 4 goals, we thought it was a massive score when Cork got 4 goals in the Munster final over the full 60 minutes. To have 5 gotten here already and leaving a few scores behind them as well, who would have thought we'd be talking about a 20-point ball game?
Yeah, you know, I suppose this time of the year goals are crucial. Maybe not so much today on a pitch of the quality of Páirc Uí Chaoimh, but certainly goals are big scores, and when you have goal getters like Amy O'Connor and Saoirse McCartan inside, you know, the Cork are going to score goals. You know, probably a little bit naive from Limerick that they didn't maybe shore up a little bit more at the back, given that they were playing against the breeze, you know, try and stop that supply of ball. But really, you know, it's hard for any full back line to contend with those forwards inside when the supply of ball and the quality of ball that's coming in is what it is at the moment.
It is what it is at the moment, as you can hear now the music in the background. 20 points between the teams. Cork 5-8, Limerick 3 points. Elaine, before we take a break, what will John Lilla say to his team there now? Because they will be clapped off there as well. The Limerick supporters get behind them, but they really need a confidence boost here if they're going to be able to put in a productive 30 minutes.
Yeah, look, it's all about the performance now, I suppose, and what they can put together from a Limerick point of view. Look, you're not going to be defeatist in the dressing room. You're not going to think that this game is gone from you. You're going to come out and give it a fighting chance. But look, in all reality, I mean, they have to look at getting a performance now in the next 30 minutes and trying to build what they can for their last group game against Clare. That's realistically got to be their target now. They have 30 minutes to turn that performance around. Look, they've created a couple of scores up front, a couple of scoring chances, but not enough to trouble a team of the likes of Cork. So look, I suppose he wants to get in, forget about that first half, get the score back to 0-0 and get that breeze in their back and see what they can create from a Limerick point of view, and as I said, try and build on it for their last group game. You
can see the Limerick management team, a lot to talk about and think about before they go back into the dressing room. It's been a very difficult 30 minutes for them, but we'll be back again in about 10 minutes time for live coverage of the second half of this Littlewoods National Camogie League game here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, brought to you in association with Entry. But it's Cork in control. They have scored 5 goals. Amy O'Connor were 2, Saoirse McCartan, Izzy O'Regan and Cliona Healy on target. The half-time score here, it's Cork 5-8, Limerick 3 points.
Invincible. Invincible.
Thank you very much and welcome back here to Porky Keefe. There's a couple of changes there on the Cork team being announced. We'll tell you about them in a moment.
Emma Murphy, and on the Limerick side, the goalkeeper has been changed. Claire Keating is being replaced by Emily Shavian, Lee O'Carroll.
So 3 changes there. We'll run through those in a second. I'll just talk about the Limerick one first there, Elaine, because I'm completely shocked by that. Leo Carroll on for Claire Keating. In fairness, we mentioned it in the commentary, you can't really blame Claire Keating for any of those. I think one ball given away from a throw and possibly that's it.
Yeah, and maybe that last one she'll have been a little bit disappointed with. She didn't get the hurl down sooner to it, but certainly unless the injury that she picked up just before half time there was something more than we thought at the time, but certainly I don't think you could fault her for a lot of what has gone on in that first half.
But Limerick have changed their goalkeeper anyway. 5-8 to Cork, 3 points to Limerick at half time. The 2 Cork changes, Ciara O'Sullivan and Izzy O'Regan, one of the goal scorers gone off. Chloe Sickerson on the field of play, as is Emma Murphy. And the rain is starting to come down here in Porky Keefe, but Cork look like they don't want to stop raining on Limerick's parade the way they've been playing this game. Cliona Healy and Amy O'Connor just getting themselves mixed up there with an attack, but they still have the time to sort it out. And Aisling Thompson comes in and says, I'll show you how it's done. But Limerick say no, they get in the way. Muireann Creamer and Stephanie Wolf doing well there just to block out that particular attack. And there was a pull on the Limerick player, so it's going to be a free out for Limerick, and that's going to be, well, Aoife Coughlin is the player there, but she's going to leave it off for Mairead Ryan, and Mairead Ryan will take the free out. And as we said here, Elaine, nobody's expecting a 20-point turnaround here, especially now with the rain coming down. We just want Limerick to put in a performance, at least be competitive in the second half.
Yeah, exactly, for their own point of view, maybe shore up at the back there a little bit and get a bit more defensively solid back there, and then try and work on something. But as you said, look, it's not going to be a 20-point turnaround here after the half-time break, but they do need to try and get something from this game.
Galway beaten down 17 to 8 points. Dublin beat Offaly 112 to 2 points. Amy O'Connor out on the left goes for a shot for Cork, and she puts the ball over the bar. 90 seconds into the second half, Cork at their first score of the half. It's 5-9 to 3 points.
Yeah, and Amy O'Connor starting off where she left off in that first half again. On the previous play there, she had worked herself inside into a really good position again and standing with arms out looking for that pass from I think it was Aisling Thompson had it at the time before she was dispossessed, but look, really lethal forward, and she's clearly on her game here today.
Cork reading it very well in the middle of the field. There was 3 Limerick players and Cork managed to get the ball back, and now they're on the attack again, and Limerick definitely do not want to let Cork get their scoring boots or scoring sticks on again at the start of the second half. Aisling Thompson got an early point as well in the first half, just left the ball out for Mairead Ryan to block it down, lost the hurl in the process. She didn't drop it just fell out of her hand. There's no dropping of the hurl anymore, but Cork were going to have another go 2 minutes into the game, and good block there by Caoimhe Lyons, the number 13, but not enough to stop Laura Tracy, and Laura Tracy sends it in towards the middle, and on the move here is Chloe Sickerson for Cork, wearing number 18, sends it out towards the far side of the field, and there's Cork opportunity for a shot. I think it might have been Emma Murphy who got the shot there. Elaine will confirm. Cork get another score. It's 5-10 to 3 points.
Yeah, and I think it was Cliona Healy got on the end of it again, but again another huge run from Laura Hayes up the middle, and she's mad to get forward all day today. Lovely pop pass out, and Cliona Healy with the score then again.
So Cliona Healy gets the point there for Cork, so 5-10 to 3 points, favouring the whole side, and they're just continuing as they left off. This of course is Emma Murphy wearing number 20, and she's dropping it in towards the direction of Saoirse McCartan. Didn't materialise in that occasion. Good work being done by Mairead Ryan, but Limerick do not want to be messing about with the ball in defence. Stephanie Wolf gives it to Sophie O'Callaghan, and Sophie O'Callaghan gets it out towards the middle of the field again, but this is the area in particular that Limerick are struggling. Aisling Scanlon trying to fight off the attentions of Katie O'Mahony, and Katie O'Mahony holding things up there as well. Limerick do have the ball, they do manage to bring it forward, they've won the free in the process. Aisling Scanlon given the pass off for Caroline Brennan, but we're going to go back for the free outside the 65 metre line. Katie O'Mahony is a player too, Elaine, that has worked hard for Cork in this game.
Yeah, she has, in a really busy middle of the field. There's a lot of bodies around there. She's not the tallest of players, but she's certainly not lacking for fight or toughness there. And as I said, she's had a huge last couple of years for Inniscarra in the club championship, and has been really a standout player for them there. So as I said, great to see her getting her chance here today, and she certainly doesn't look out of place there.
Sophie O'Callaghan, of course, the captain of Adair when they won their junior county title last year. Great year was for Adair, doing a Camogie ladies football double. Michelle Curtin's on the move inside the 45 metre line, gets within range, goes for a shot at the post, and Michelle Curtin puts the ball over the bar. 3 points in this game for Michelle, 4 in total for Limerick, 4 points to 5-10.
Yeah, look, and Michelle has been a real leading light, I suppose, for Limerick up front when scores have been so scarce to come by. She's there with 3 of her own, and no mean achievement on Laura Hayes over there. So, huge day for her and 3 really good scores.
Miriam Creamer sending the ball down the right, but the ball breaks kindly again for Cork. Not to be, though legally though. Cleena Ryan did come in on the challenge, and it's going to be a free out for Cork. And I'd say Amy Lee, the captain, will come out to take this free herself, and she'll take it just on the edge of the deem, just looking around the field, who's getting into the spaces. Cork just bunching up in the middle before they move out wide. Amy Lee goes to the left, going in the direction of Cleena Healy. Saoirse McCartan is there as well. Marion Quaid misses the move, and here comes Cleena Healy, and Cleena Healy's inside. Chance here for another goal for Cork. A shot, and it's gone wide. I don't know how she managed to miss that. The ball goes to the left and wide. I thought it hit the net for the moment until I saw the umpire moving, but just like that, Cork created another goal scoring chance.
Yeah, and that was a goal scoring chance. It was a super ball from Amy Lee at the back, a really strong free against that window into the space. But as you said, the Cork forwards all bunched in the middle of the field and waiting until that last minute to make the run, and Cleena Healy again getting onto the end of it, and she'll probably be a little bit disappointed. That's another chance that I think when Cork look back on it, they'll be a little bit disappointed that maybe despite the 5-10 that they have scored, they certainly have left some scores behind.
Sophie O'Callaghan sending the ball across the field as Limerick just try and hold on to the sliotar for a few moments, get their own game plan in place, but they have to get past Maeve Murphy, and Maeve Murphy from Ballinora says no, lays the pass off for Saoirse McCarthy, and Saoirse McCarthy is going to send it in towards Saoirse McCartan, I should say, and Saoirse McCartan up against Marion Quaid. They've had a great battle in this game, but Saoirse McCartan gets down towards the end line, surrounded by 2 Limerick players. The other is Mairead Ryan, looks around for options, sends it back in the direction of Kate Wall. Kate Wall takes the challenge, tries to get inside. She has won the free, the foul, the whistle has blown, the foul has been committed, and it'll be a chance, I'd say, for Cleena Healy will it be to take this free and give Cork another score in the game. The rain is backing down now in Porky Keith. The more misty type of rain as well, but it's one of those that'll make conditions difficult to play.
Yeah, it's just going to make conditions a little bit slippier, and I suppose a couple of players are using their footing out there on the field, so I suppose this won't help them. But again, not the easiest to freeze for Cleena Healy now in the second half, as she just maybe tries to judge the wind into that Blackrock end goal. But as I said, a player who has been on form today, so you wouldn't put it past her.
Just want to give a shout out to Emma Murphy from Glen Rovers, who's come onto the field as a half-time substitute. She was one of 2 third-level All-Stars representing UCC and Cork, who picked up those awards during the week. The other was Sarah Hearn. Of course, while I was telling you that, Cleena Healy took the free. She put the ball over the bar. It's 5-11 to 4 points.
Yeah, made little of the conditions there. Cleena Healy, and her free taking as well as her general play today has been superb, and a player with really momentum, and could possibly have a huge year for Cork this year.
Orla Kelleher, they're battling for possession for Limerick on the 45-metre line, but Cork can always get an extra boot, an extra stick onto it. Chloe Sigerson turns in the left, gives the pass off for Cleena Healy. Cleena Healy looks around, they're just spraying it around the place. Saoirse McCartan goes for a shot from distance, and Saoirse McCartan came out the field that time to get her score, and she puts it over the bar. 5-12 to 4 points to Cork, 4 points to 1 in the second half.
Yeah, super score from distance, but again, just really well worked, and the experience of Chloe Sigerson, I'm sure, anxious to get back on the field and stake her claim on a place there, but getting involved in that play and using the ball real intelligently, which I think has been a real key factor of Cork's game today.
Orla Kelleher is a player that's worked hard for Limerick over the course of the contest so far, brings it past the 65-metre line, but again, Cork just not lapsing in concentration or work rate any less than they were in the first half as well. They want to keep this going for the full 60 minutes. Aoife Coughlin tries to get possession for Limerick, but it's the other number 7, Saoirse McCarthy, that wins the ball. It goes out over the line off the Limerick stick, so it's going to be a Cork ball, and it's going to be taken by Saoirse McCarthy. A dispute over where the ball should take place, but the linesman, I should say, the near side of the field is happy enough with it. But while all that is going on, we can tell you we're going to have 3 Cork substitutions. Just going to write down their numbers first, and we'll tell you exactly who they are. 17 Aoife Hurley, 19 Olivia McCallan, and 22 Maeve Ring, all on the field of play. We'll confirm the players going off at the moment, but some big names going off there, Lynn.
Yeah, Amy O'Connor looks to be being rested, Laura Tracy off, and Casey O'Mahony from the middle of the field. So Matthew Shumey, I suppose, taking the opportunity now to run out his bench and give some game time to some of the extended panel. But 3 players there who had 3 big 45 minutes or whatever it was, 38 minutes there for Cork today. Amy O'Connor with those scores. Laura Tracy maybe just getting a little bit of attention on an injury down there on the sideline, so perhaps just a little bit of precaution just to have her off. But those are the 3 subs.
No chances being taken by the Cork team. A big game coming up against Kilkenny in round 3 of this group, and the winner of that match, Cork and Kilkenny, providing there's no major turnaround this game, will determine who goes into the league final. Limerick will end up playing Clare to avoid the relegation playoffs, where the other group contains Galway, Tipperary, Offaly, Dublin and Down. A bit of tennis between the two teams at the moment. The green against the red. The player in green is Sophie O'Callaghan, gets the pass off in Muireann Creamer, and Muireann Creamer on her own 45-metre line going for a crossfield ball. But you know what, Elena, even seen her hit that ball, you could see Chloe Sigerson there ready to take it straight away. That has been the difference between the two teams. I'll get your response in a moment, because Cork are trying to create another opportunity. Saoirse McCartan just getting her body in the way there to get possession, has support outside her. The support is from Emma Murphy. The referee says she threw the ball again. Liz Dempsey's been picking on that, but going back to the point it was making, Limerick just needlessly at times giving the ball away to Cork.
Yeah, look, and I suppose it's a combination maybe of the pressure that Cork are putting on Limerick, how well Cork are reading the play, and a little bit of just last gasp defending from Limerick on occasion, just happy to get rid of the ball. As you said, it had been up and down the field on the far side for a couple of times there, and eventually when the cross field ball did come, it was only straight into the path of Chloe Sigerson, who read it really, really well. And you know, a player of her experience is always going to do that for you.
Mairead Ryan took the free, but Cork have it again, and Cork are on the move now towards the 45-metre line, and another scoring opportunity could be coming here, as well as Chloe Sigerson holds possession, sends the ball across to the left, looking for the forward inside. Limerick getting the bodies in the way, but it's not gone yet. This is Cliona Healy. Cliona Healy with an effort at the post, and Cliona Healy puts the ball over the bar. 11 minutes into the second half, another score for Cliona, and it's 5-13 to 4 points.
Yeah, and again it was Chloe Sigerson, you know, using all that experience here on the half forward line there, just held onto the ball for long enough till something created inside, and when she couldn't get anything straight away, she carried the ball, carried it into, and again a lovely crossfield ball across, and who on the end of it, only Cliona Healy.
Limerick have made a substitution. We'll confirm the details of that in a moment for you. But that's their first outfield change. Of course, they changed the goalkeeper at half time, and I'm just trying to work out, is it Aoife Coughlin that has gone off for Limerick? I think it is, but we'll watch this Cork attack the far side of the field, as the other number 7 is Saoirse McCarthy, and Saoirse McCarthy's in the crossfield ball across the goal to the right and wide, and it's going to be a chance to restart the action through Leah O'Carroll, the goalkeeper representing the Patrickswell club, and she looked up well there to find Sophie O'Callaghan, and Sophie O'Callaghan on the 45-metre line will bring it towards the 65, as Limerick look to get a few scores here and dress up the scoreboard in a very, very disappointing afternoon for the Shannonsiders. Down towards the inside line, but just trying to find a way inside that Cork attack is difficult. Sarah O'Brien lost a hurl in the process. She has Ashley Scanlon there for support too, but Cork bring it out again past the 45-metre line and down in towards the attack again, and this is what Cork want to do, what they've been doing from the opening whistle, try and isolate the defenders and get the chance, and Mairead Ryan dropping back there to help out Marion Quaid, and they get it to Sophie O'Callaghan again on the 65-metre line. Block again, a good block down there by Cork, blocked down by Emma Murphy, just missed her hand with the hand pass, goes out over the line. Elaine, we can see what Limerick are trying to do, and no doubt they will learn and get better at every passing game, but they've learned an awful lot about what's wrong with their game plan in this match.
Yeah, look, they've been broken down time and time again, I suppose, and they've been on the back foot from the throw in here today and really, really chasing the game. But look, you'd have to credit Sophie O'Callaghan in the middle of the field there. She's really, you know, did her best to carry the game to Cork at times, and she's driving forward. But again, I just suppose defensively Limerick very naive today, you know, leaving that full forward line in that kind of space inside, and maybe not just putting the shackles on some of the quality of ball that's going into them, maybe not just working hard enough. And look, it's obviously easy to say it when you're that far ahead that Cork's work rate is just that bit better than them, but look, I suppose just aimless ball, and again down the heart of the Cork defence, and allows Cork to build from the back then, and when you allow them to build from there, I suppose you're on to the back foot already, because they're creating the overlap from way out the field, and you know they have the clinical forwards inside then that will punish you.
Substitution there for Limerick. Noelle Curtin, number 21, coming on for Cliona Ryan. That's the second change now. We still haven't confirmed the player that came on earlier on for Aoife Coughlin, but we looked at it was actually Aoife Neeligan, actually the number 18 there, so 17 I should say, that came on the field to play as well. So no different to the Cork players getting their opportunity. Limerick now a few players get a step up and audition for the Clare match. Yeah,
look, I suppose if you're a substitute and your team is down by that amount, you want to try and get on and prove that maybe you should have had your starting place. And as I said, look, a team now that will go to I think they're at home to Clare. The next day, you know, they will look at that Clare game as the one that they need to win to keep their league ambitions alive in Division 1, I suppose. So they'll look for performance from those players, and you know, the players coming on here today now getting their chance to stake a claim on a jersey, and maybe asking some questions of John Lillis and his management team.
There's still 16 minutes to go here in this match as well. Plenty of time as Kate Wall tries to launch another attack down for Saoirse McCartan. Saoirse McCartan gets a bit of space there, goes for the shot. It'll be an excellent score if she gets it. Goes across the goal to the right and wide. Always going to be a very, very difficult effort here. It's coming up towards the 3-quarter mark. It's Cork 5-13, Limerick 4 points. Aisling Scanlon has the ball for Limerick, gives it to Sophie O'Callaghan, and Sophie O'Callaghan driving it up the field again, but it was looking for Michelle Curtin, but there was always 2 Cork players there. A challenge between the 2 players. The referee has blown the whistle. We're going to have a hold up in play here, and just it's getting a bit stop-starty now.
Yeah, good to see the crowd are still awake and alive on that side. There was a little bit of a groan there when Laura Hayes took that tackle, but credit to her, she hit the ground. She was up twice as quick as well, and she slotted really, really well into Laura Tracy's shoes there since Laura Tracy has come off the field, and reading the play really, really well. She covered the ground really well to get to that ball, and you know, really snubbed out any chance of a Limerick attack.
Liz Dempsey's been very consistent, especially about any potential head injuries. Just wanted to stop the play to make sure both players were okay. Let's get on with it, and that's exactly what we're doing. Kate Wall down the left wants to take on Mairead Ryan, does take on Mairead Ryan, gets inside the 45-metre line. The Limerick centre back gets the little touch, and enough for Muireann Creamer to bring it up the field. Well, enough to bring up the field a small bit, because Kate Wall has it back again. Players are inside, and a good battle for possession, intensity between the 2 respective teams. Cork still looking for more scores. Limerick looking to get the ball the other side of the field, and Limerick have the bodies back in there, 3 or 4 bodies, but just can't clear the danger out, and Cork have possession, just wasted on that occasion. Caroline Brennan reading the pass, goes to ground, so it's going to be a free out for Limerick, and a chance again. Mairead Ryan will take this. Mairead Ryan plays our club Camogie with Clooney Quinn in Clare, and won a minor county title back in 2010. So referee, I'm not too sure, was there something wrong with Muireann Creamer, or did Muireann Creamer say something to Liz Dempsey? Either way, there was words spoken. We'll get back to the play, and we'll get back to the player on your screen in the white helmet, and that is Mairead Ryan. Mairead Ryan sending it down towards the 65-metre line, down towards Cueva Lines. Cueva Lines just trying to hold on to the ball, but needs the support coming in, and it doesn't come in as quick as the jerseys in red. Limerick do enough on this occasion to win it. Sending it in towards the attack, in towards Noelle Curtin. Gets away from her. Won on that occasion by Libby Coppinger, and Libby Coppinger turns to the right down the direction of Saoirse McCarthy. Saoirse McCarthy on the 45-metre line has the teammate's Aisling Thompson, and Aisling Thompson goes on one of her trademark runs into the Limerick half of the field, turns on her left hand side, sends a dangerous teasing ball right perfectly in front of Saoirse McCarthy. Good defending in that occasion by Marion Quaid, enough just to help the Cork attacker lose her balance and get the ball out. The hands out by Michelle Curtin as well. Little experience being shown there by players now trying to get that bit of space here, but the opposing player for both teams always gets straight back up and gets on with it. Cork have the ball again between the 265-metre lines, and just holding on to the ball. Olivia McAllen down towards the 45. Limerick just again getting the body in the way, sliding the ground if you have to as well to get possession, and the scoring for both teams has slowed down as Mairead Ryan wins the free for Limerick. Some interesting passages of play there. Good sporting nature to the contest.
Yeah, look, and I think the biggest one is probably Marion Quaid and Saoirse McCartney on the edge of the square there. They've had a good battle there today throughout, and Marion Quaid, huge player for Limerick over the years, huge experience there, so she's certainly not given any quarter in there. And as you said, some good passages of play now from Limerick, and they're just maybe starting to find their feet a little bit. Aisling
Thompson going for a shot at the post. I don't know if she was attempting to drop that down for Saoirse McCartney, but it didn't materialise. Goes out over the line to the left and wide. 7 wides in this game for Cork, 2 for Limerick. It's Cork 5-13, Limerick 4 points. We have 12 minutes remaining here in this 2022 Littlewoods National Camogie League group fixture, brought to you here on the Camogie Association YouTube channel in association with Entry. And Cork are looking like they're going to enter the final stages of this league competition with a chance of making the final. Clean Healy with a pass inside towards Kate Wall, not to be. Leo Carroll able to take it in space as a player in front. That player in front is Stephanie Wolfe, and Stephanie Wolfe will come out towards the 45-metre line. Just got hooked when she attempted to cleared the ball. Kate Wall was running onto it, but Limerick getting bodies in the way. One of them is Emma Kennedy. Emma Kennedy sent it down towards the line. Went off a stick there. I'm not too sure if it went off a Cork stick. Indeed, the linesman on the far side of the field says it did go off a Cork stick, and it's going to be a sideline ball for Limerick, as we just everybody getting slowed in to get on this. And I think the pace of this has gone now, Elaine.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, but credit to Cliona Healy there on that occasion. You know, she's been scoring left, right and centre today, but did really, really well there to chase a ball that looked lost and got in a hook and then got in a block as well. So she's certainly a player whose stats will be well up today when Cork look back on this game.
Sophie O'Callaghan takes the line ball, got well underneath it, but doesn't get it too far. Cork have possession back again and just lining up the troops to go over another run. Limerick now getting their hands out. The free given away by Muireann Creamer on that occasion, so it's going to be a free for Cork about 55 yards out from the goal. Be interesting to see will Cliona Healy have a go at trying to put this over the bar. Indeed, it's not going to be Cliona Healy to take this in substitution for Limerick. Nadine White, wearing number 18, is about to enter the fray, so we'll just have a hold for a moment as that substitution takes place, and it might well be Stephanie Wolfe, the player that comes off. So we'll have a Cork free in a moment after the substitution takes place. Cork in front by 24 points. So free for Cork taken, and it's going to land. It lands over the bar. Excellent score on that occasion. Cork get another point. We have 10 minutes to go. It's 5-14 to 4 points.
Yeah, trademark Chloe Sigerson long distance free. You know, she's unerring from them most times, and again, not an easy one to start off with. Well out with distance wise, well out on the sideline, but made no difference with it and slotted it lovely over the bar. So just her nailing down her importance, I suppose, to that Cork forward line.
There's a Limerick player just down receiving some attention at the moment. It might be Mairead Ryan, so we're just going to again hold up for a couple of moments. We count down towards the last 10 minutes. Elaine, just we're looking at the Limerick side of things here. We know they're going to be playing Clare now in the game to avoid the relegation playoffs. Based on Clare's form so far, they're going to find that tough, but Limerick will certainly be able to open for a contest against their neighbours. Yeah,
you know, just based on scores, I suppose, and look, you have to take into account the conditions. You know, Clare really pushed Kilkenny all the way today. They pushed Cork for long periods of the game last week, so that's something probably Limerick haven't done today. But look, Páirc Uí Chaoimh is a totally different field, I suppose, and conditions totally different to what they were last week. So, you know, Limerick can't read too much into those previous scores, and as you said, they need to put all their energy now into that Clare game and trying to get a result there to keep their Division 1 hopes alive. And look, there'll be patches of the Kilkenny game they'll be able to look back on, the patches of today's game they'll be able to look back on, probably more from the Kilkenny game in truth when they look back. But look, huge learning today for a lot of those younger Limerick players, and getting to Páirc Uí Chaoimh and getting to play against the likes of the Aisling Thompsons, the Amy O'Connors, the Chloe Sigersons of this world. So a huge learning for them.
And the Saoirse McCarthy's as well, who has the ball, gives it out to Chloe Sigerson. Chloe Sigerson will turn on her right, goes for a shot. Chloe Sigerson puts it over the bar again. One from play, one from a free. 5-15 to 4 points.
Yeah, lovely score there from Chloe Sigerson. A lovely little turn, but again, just found herself in so much space. You know, that running off the shoulder, lovely little pop pass from the Cork player in possession and to the player in the better position, and the shot comes off and the shot gets over the bar.
So the battle for possession on the far side of the field as Muireann Creamer tries to win it back for Limerick. She has support coming in from Aisling Scanlon. Aisling Scanlon wearing number 11, sent it back to Mairead Ryan, who thankfully is okay, back on her feet, back in the action, and wins a free in the process. Limerick just one score in this second half. It has come from their top scorer, Michelle Curtin. They'd love to finish off with a few more scores as well and give them something ahead of that Clare game. Of course, it has to be remembered too, Clare have played 2 home games in the league so far. Limerick have played 2 away games. Just the way the draw has been, Limerick will be at home when they do face Clare in that very, very important game to stay in Division 1. We've seen how teams of the calibre of Wexford and Waterford, for example, have been relegated in recent years. Both All-Ireland quarter-finalists last year, both victorious today in their respective Division 2 assignments, and both hoping to be back up in Division 1 next year. Liz Dempsey has blown the whistles. She's going to throw the ball in the far side of the field. 2 players going in for possession, and of course, the player number 22 is Maeve Ring for Cork, up against Aisling Scanlon for Limerick. Limerick just trying to get a touch in the ball, but Cork not making it easy at all. 6.5 minutes remain here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. Cork 5-15 to 4 points ahead, on their way to a second victory in the Littlewoods National Camogie League, and looking for more scores in this game, as are Limerick. And again, Cork take possession, swirled out the field, great skill being shown here, and the pass off to Aisling Thompson, and Aisling Thompson profiting from the great work by Emma Murphy. Referee, did she call it 3 times? Aisling Thompson's not happy with the decision anyway. Either way, it's going to be a free out for Limerick.
Yeah, I think Liz Dempsey indicated maybe a dropped hurl on that occasion. Aisling looking to just, I think she could see Emma Wall or Kate Wall and Chloe Sigerson at the far side of the field, just couldn't quite get the strike away to get across them, and maybe look to get the long hand pass instead. But a chance for Limerick and a reprieve for them at the back.
The Cork full back is Libby Cobbinger, has possession, gives into space, 2 options there the whole time. Cork always with bodies in the way, and they move it out to Laura Tracy towards, it wasn't Laura Tracy, of course it was Laura Hayes. Laura Tracy's gone off the field. Cleena Healy gives the pass off to a teammate, and down now for Saoirse McCarthy, who certainly pushed up into the attack an awful lot more in the second half. Emma Kennedy with the ball for Limerick, but it's won back by Cork. Saoirse McCarthy wanting to have another go, and surrounded by 3 players. The one closest to her is Muireann Creamer. Saoirse turns on her right hand side. Aisling Thompson is there, and Aisling Thompson, splitting the 2 Limerick players, takes the challenge, looks around, sends it up towards the 45-metre line for Chloe Sigerson, and Chloe Sigerson going for another, you said, Elaine, a Chloe Sigerson special with the free. She's added 2 specials in play, 5-16 to 4 points.
Yeah, and look, she's just pulled all the strings since she came in there. Came in at kind of centre forward, is roving around, and the role I suppose we normally expect Orla Cronin to see Orla Cronin playing with Cork, but Chloe Sigerson has obviously been taking a couple of leaves out of that book, and she's playing that centre forward role really, really well there, and lovely link up play between herself and Aisling Thompson there, just a little pop pass into space again, and Chloe with a massive score from distance.
2 Cork substitutions have taken place. We can tell you that Emma Flanagan wearing 21 and Cleena Dooley 23 are on. I think Maeve Cahallan's one of the players that's gone.
Has been replaced by Cleona Dooley, and in goals Amy Lee has been replaced by Caoimhe Buckley.
So Caoimhe Buckley in for Amy Lee in goal. There was definitely another substitution as well, because Emma Flanagan did come onto the field to play for Cork, so we'll confirm the other player that has gone off, but Amy Lee gone off, as is Maeve Cahallan, and Kate Wall, the 3rd Cork player to leave the field. So plenty of substitute options in the Camogie, especially during the league stages, and plenty of, as we said already, plenty of players getting their chance.
Yeah, a chance for Matthew Toomey to run out the entire bench there. I think today the 3 girls were the 3 last left in the warm-up on the sideline there, so have the most warming up done today, so a chance there for them to get in and stake their place on the claim.
Elaine, I'll get you to get your thoughts on player of the match in a moment. I don't see the point of us waiting too much longer, but we'll have a look first at certainly a Limerick player that'll be in contention. Michelle Curtin gives the pass out to Caoimhe Lyons. Caoimhe Lyons trying to find space to get the shot in, sends it inside, looking for Noelle Curtin. Noelle Curtin has the ball, she's wearing number 21, back to a teammate as well. A chance for Limerick to get a score. A shot at the post, it has gone over the bar. The point comes from Caoimhe Lyons. Limerick finally get their 5th score of the game, 5 points to 5-16.
Yeah, Michelle Curtin and Caoimhe Lyons with all their scores today, have been the 2, I suppose, up front that have tried to take the battle to Cork where they could, but just not enough ball, I suppose, into them, and really it's taken till the 27th minute of that second half for them to make any real inroads in there.
Laura Hayes down to Cleena Healy, and Cleena Healy's on the run again. There is Saoirse McCartan inside, but she might go herself for a score. Cleena Healy puts the ball over the bar inside the final 3 minutes, 5-17 to 5 points.
Yeah, look, another super score from Cleena Healy, and she really has lit up Páirc Uí Chaoimh all over today, and she's been involved in a lot of what has been good about Cork. Was involved in the setup of a couple of the goals and got in herself on the goal scoring act, but has been firing points over from play there today, and she's just really covered every blade of grass. She's been really outstanding for Cork today, but again that came all the way from the back, from the puck out from Caoimhe Buckley back there, and Cork just work it up into that scoring position. And 5-17, against any opposition is good scoring, and the fear was at half time was that with 5 goals on the board that Cork would go out and it would be a goal fest for the second half, but in fairness they've added the points, and I think Matthew Toomey would be really happy with a score of 5-17.
Bit of concern there for Michelle Curtin, as we were talking about her and her 3 points in the game. Looks like she's picked up an injury, you can see on screen, so we're going to have a hold up and play. And while we're having this hold up, Elaine, we were just talking about, you've mentioned a few players there already, but overall contenders and the overall player of the match.
Yeah, look, I suppose from a Limerick point of view, you couldn't fault Marion Quaid at the back there. You know, a big battle today on her hands with Saoirse McCartan, and probably came out happy enough with that battle. You know, they didn't concede from in there. Sophie O'Callaghan on the middle of the field, you know, brought as much of the game as she could. Strong physical player, got on a lot of ball, and up front obviously Michelle Curtin and Caoimhe Lyons with their scoring prowess. And look, from a Cork point of view, I suppose you could pick a number of players. Their half back line were all outstanding. Laura Hayes, Laura Tracy and Saoirse McCarthy, not just at defending but getting up front and trying to get on the scoreboard as much as they can. And look, at a platter of scorers up front, but for me I think just Cliona Healy and the performance she's put in today from the get-go. Look, I said in the last passage there, she was involved in the goals, she was involved in setting them up, she was involved in scoring them, and she's helped herself to 7 or 8 points I think on top as well. So look, a huge day for her, and a really big performance, and she's my Littlewoods player of the match today.
Nobody will argue with that. Cliona Healy been absolutely superb and is the player of the match here in association with Littlewoods. 5-17 to 5 points. We're inside the final minute of normal time, waiting for instructions from the stadium announcer how much injury time we will play. Sadly for Limerick, Michelle Curtin has gone off the field to play injured. Hopefully she will be okay. Enya Doolan, the player to come on there, wearing number 22, and she's in the middle of that scrum for possession. Aisling Scanlon is there as well for Limerick, looking for the free. The referee not happy with this. It looks like she's going to throw it in. I think Liz Dempsey is. So it'll be between Aisling Scanlon and Saoirse McCarthy outside the Cork 45 metre line, as Limerick try and get even that consolation goal to make sure.
Additional time in the second half, at least 2 minutes.
So at least 2 minutes have been announced there, and we're coming up towards the 30-minute mark. So we have 2 minutes to go here in this game. Cork on their way to a second victory. Aisling Scanlon sending in towards the goalkeeper, Caoimhe Buckley. Just had a bit of nerves there at the moment. Maybe Limerick will get a chance to turn, but Sarah O'Brien puts the ball over the bar for Limerick. They're 6 scored the game in 61 minutes, 6 points to 5-17.
Yeah, look, Caoimhe Buckley probably be a little bit disappointed with how she handled that, but her first passage of play, obviously a huge one for her. But Limerick got in and look, could have created a goal scoring chance maybe, but happy on this occasion just to take the point.
Muireann Creamer on the move now towards the 45 metre line, sending it in. Limerick determined to finish with a flourish. Might come for Caoimhe Lyons here. Chance because she got control of the ball. 2 Cork defenders around her, needed to get the first touch accurate to get that scoring opportunity. Not to be, in Cork had the bodies there to get in the way. Now Cork haven't dealt with it yet. They're still having a few problems, but eventually Laura Hayes was the player that gets it out the field, out towards the 45 metre line. And Cork are determined. They didn't concede any goals against Clare, and they're determined they're not going to concede any goals against Limerick here down the other end of the field. This is Saoirse McCartan, and Saoirse McCartan on the move as well. She might take on the player, tried to send the pass off, probably got caught in 2 minds between the decision to make Emma Kennedy the for Limerick, sends it down the far side of the field, but Maeve Ring should win the ball for Cork, gives it off for Emma Flanagan. Emma Flanagan's in the middle of the field, finds another teammate, and Cork are moving it towards the 65 metre line. The hand is out for a free, just over 30 seconds remaining in this game, as Saoirse McCartan has a pop at the post. The umpire's having a good look at it, came off the upright, nobody was following through. Leo Carroll was thankful for that, but didn't get it away, and Cork will get another opportunity to try and get the final score of this game, which you would expect will be the last attack on a day where all went perfectly right for Cork. Saoirse McCartan takes the pass from Cliona Healy, sending it across in the direction of Emma Murphy. She leaves it for a teammate on the 45 metre line. That teammate is Emma Flanagan, into the hands of the goalkeeper Leo Carroll. Leo Carroll gives it to Sophie O'Callaghan. The 2 minutes have been played here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh. The final whistle is imminent. Limerick with a long drive down the field, but as we've mentioned already, the Cork halfbacks reading the game very well, led by Laura Hayes, and Laura Hayes will send it down the other side of the field too, and Limerick will not want to concede a goal in the closing stages. 2 players inside 18 is Chloe Sigerson. Chloe Sigerson with the shot, good block down there by the goalkeeper Leo Carroll, denies Chloe Sigerson a chance for a goal, and the referee blows the final whistle here in the Littlewoods National Camogie League. Cork the winners by 5-17 to 6 points, always in control of this contest. Elaine, your final overall thoughts?
Yeah, as you said, Cork always in control today. You know, from the first minute they just implemented their game plan on it and they played it to perfection. You know, I still think they'll have areas to work on, and Matthew Toomey won't be 100%. pleased with the result. Obviously pleased with the result, but maybe not with some of the scores that I felt they left behind. They probably created a few more chances that they could have converted. But look, any day you score 5-17, you're going to be happy enough. From a Limerick point of view, look, they never really got into the game, and I know John Lillis spoke about a rebuilding process. And look, there's a steep learning curve there. Obviously, the gap looked to be pretty wide there today. Once Cork ran the bench a little bit, and credit Limerick ran it as well, they seemed to get up to the pace of it a little bit and asked some questions of Cork coming down the home straight. But I suppose just not enough to ever really trouble Cork. Is certainly not on the scoreboard. So a huge learning curve, as I said. And look, they'll have to try and take the positives out of that before they face into Clare now in the final group game, just to try and keep their Division 2 hopes alive.
Limerick lots to ponder before that game against Clare. Cork will be relishing a chance with Kilkenny, and Dermot Kennedy is going to sing us home here from Porky Cave. Like to thank Elaine Littlewoods here for joining us here in the commentary box. Your commentary brought to you in association with Entry. The winners are Cork.